Hello and welcome for the last time this series into my dark corner of this sick world. This week's film was recommended to me by my grandpa and is called Night of the Lepus. So, first things first, what's a lepus?
It's difficult to conceive that such an innocent furry rabbit, scientifically known as Lepus.
So that's Night of the Rabbits then? That doesn't sound that scary. Now, it just doesn't seem that plausible. But let's give it a chance. Although, before we start, I should tell you, this may not be one for the animal lovers. Now I'll have to walk back.
Mommy!
No animals were harmed during the making of this film.
I like rabbits, Mommy.
But a few certainly had the shit scared out of them.
That's the cry of fear.
Yeah, no shit. Those rabbits aren't that scary, but they are eating Rancher Cole's crops. So he gets some advice on how to get rid of them from his friend, Dr. McCoy, who introduces him to Roy Bennett and his wife Jerry, who are scientists. And they don't hold with poison.
But the poison killed the birds. And that resulted in a plague of grasshoppers, just as bad as the rabbits.
Then their firstborn started dying and it was downhill from there. They prefer a natural approach to killing things.
Hormones.
Yeah, poisons are natural. Let's monkey about with their DNA instead.
If we could affect the blood of 50 rabbits, it wouldn't take long for this change to take place in the entire population.
I can't see how that could possibly go hideously wrong. That's right. Giant rabbits. Now that's scary.
They're as big as wolves.
My mistake. This flawless effect is achieved by photographing real rabbits in close-up, slowing the action down and, for some reason, playing bongos in the background. As well as being giant, these rabbits have also become ferocious hunters. Wow, bad day to be a horse. What can the scientists do?
Elton, why don't you and Frank get half the dynamite and take a look up above? See if there are any other holes.
Right.
Of course! Bury them! What an obvious and brilliant solution to a rabbit problem. Well, nothing to worry about now. Unless, of course... rabbits can dig? Who knew?
We feel that the facts have to be made public. Now, if you want, I'll tell them it was an unauthorized experiment.
No way, Roy. I got you into this. That wouldn't be right.
Hang on, he's the one who dicked about with their DNA, not you. Stand up for yourself, McCoy. Damn it, man, you're a doctor, not a scapegoat. Meanwhile, the rabbits continue on their bloodthirsty rampage. I can't believe I just said that. You know, there are some characters in films who just radiate an aura of gonna get killed. Even Cole comes under attack. And he hurries to warn people. Hard to believe that nobody stops for the gun-wielding maniac. These rabbits have to be stopped, but they'll have to find them first.
They've gone. Must be holed up somewhere else.
Oh, somewhere else! Why didn't we think to look there in the first place?
How many?
First thing in the morning, Bennett gets his wife and his village of the damned-alike child out of the way, which goes wrong in next to no time. I've just realised where I recognise Jerry from. It's Janet Leigh!
Oh, don't worry, sweetie.
Come to think of it, I think I've just worked out what this film was going for. Alfred Hitchcock's The Rabbits. And when you think about it, why not? Birds aren't exactly scary either, the effects aren't bad, the miniature sets hold up. And yet the birds is terrifying while Night of the Lepus isn't. Why? What's the problem? Well, for starters, this movie insists on explaining things.
Since the injection, this rabbit has increased in size. If it keeps up, we'll have to get larger cages.
And you don't have to be a scientist to spot the bollocks from several miles away.
Right.
Nothing is explained in The Birds, and quite rightly. If you start trying to explain the inexplicable, then the audience will not buy it. Just ask George Lucas.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
Midichlorians are a microscopic.
And in this movie, when you start explaining one thing, it draws attention to all the things you haven't explained. Like, how come the rabbits are suddenly carnivorous? And how did one normal-sized rabbit produce hundreds of giant ones within a matter of days?
There might have been something moving around just inside the shaft.
Very true. Also, Hitchcock films have a sense of humour which helps suspend the disbelief. Night of the Lepus doesn't, and it desperately needs one.
Ladies and gentlemen, attention! There is a herd of killer rabbits headed this way, and we desperately need your help. Turn on your lights and follow the police car at the entrance of the theater. Do you read me?
Hang on! They buy this? Not one person there is going, wait a minute, killer rabbits? Something here just doesn't add up. This is a problem right from the start, before they even see the rabbits.
Now, assuming inadvertently we introduce defective cells into that one rabbit, it's conceivable that we could have created the seeds for a mutated species.
Yeah, that all seems perfectly plausible. Because they buy it, we, as an audience, don't. Of course, that's not the only problem with the film. There's also some fairly suspect dialogue.
I'd like you to meet a friend of mine, Captain Billy.
Dude, it's not cool to name it, and it's certainly not cool to show it to little girls.
I still think poisoning's the better way to do it.
Anywho, having trashed the entire concept, back to the plot.
Ladies and gentlemen, a horde of killer rabbits is getting closer to town.
The rabbits are on the move, passing all this lush greenery in search of their natural food. They have to be stopped.
We'll hit the whole town with rockets. I've got 2 fighter bombers on the runway in Tucson right now.
Yeah, that seems like an entirely reasonable and measured response. Surely there's a better way.
You know what we need is a fence about 10 miles long and 20 feet high.
That sounds more humane.
An electrical fence.
We'll electrocute them on the railroad tracks.
I've got a bad feeling about this. But first, let's check in with Janet Leigh and her evil spawn. Yep, it's taken them the entire day to completely fail to fix the car. Women. And now the rabbits have tracked them down in their relentless search for human flesh, which I still don't really understand. Yeah, that'll make all the difference. But here comes her husband to save the day. What sort of rabbit snuff film is this? Special effects are one thing, but that rabbit was on fire. And it's not about to get any better for them, as the grand plan is put into action.
There they are!
This just doesn't seem like a fair fight. And it goes on for 2 solid minutes of bunny slaughter. Thank God we didn't use poison. It might have upset the balance of nature. There's still a fair few unanswered questions. Why did the rabbits become carnivorous? How is Bennett not in jail for letting this experiment get out into the wild? And where the fuck was the Humane Society during the making of this film?
I've never seen anything like this before.
Also, what was the message supposed to be?
Well, I'm not sure.
Anti-rabbit propaganda? Science is for sissies? If you want a job done properly, get a gun? Ah, American football. When you absolutely, positively need a metaphor for the United States of America, accept no substitute.
Well, survival of the fittest. That's only fair, I suppose.
So there's a message for you. It's survival of the fittest out there. Don't mess with the US.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er lives we